Greetings once again. Here's a little bit of magic. So the last video I cut a little bit short, and here's some disclosure. Yeah, it's because it's okay to take a break and run to the bathroom. How about that? Pretty cool, huh? Little TMI for you. Is that how that would be? Cool, huh? Anyway. But I'll try to break up videos anyway, just because I don't know if it's necessary to sit down, throw out my back. I don't need to do that. Even though I'm sitting with an obus form thing. And I'm used to sitting a little bit, but when I was a kid, the concept of having cool hair and standing with it blowing in the wind, yeah, I got that. You do what you could do. You know, I think you always kind of want the hair that you don't have until eventually you're just like, yeah, I don't know if I need that hassle anymore. So rock stars are different people. Now, also, you end up with stylists and people that kind of get you wardrobe stuff, if that makes sense. At least that's what I think. So, when you have people that look after your on-stage look, costumers and, well, stylists, they help you build a different persona. So look at someone like Vincent, is it Fernier? Fernier? I think it's kind of a French name. Anyway, we all know Vincent as Alice Cooper. And I'm pretty sure if Alice Cooper was wearing a suit and tie, I would know exactly who he is. It wouldn't be too much of a mystery to me. But much like that story with Michael Jackson, yeah, I can see you'd be kind of disappointed to see somebody out of their costume. You know, Clark Kent is kind of anonymous compared to Superman. So there's that, I guess. So the focus of this drawing, obviously, is the hat. And again, this is another concept thing. I'm not going to perfectly finish it out. As I said, this is more to do with that story of how he got the hat, and not really related to Hogwarts. Just, that's funny to me. But what I am going to do is I'm going to get a little scrap piece of paper. As you can see, it's the same material as this sketchbook. It's actually out of this sketchbook. So I used it to tear out a picture, a sort of story thing that I did in relation to Billy Joel. What I'm going to do with this is trace the opening of this hat. Not perfectly, but I just kind of know, I want to know. Let's say angles or something, I don't know. That one went a little further than I needed it to. But let's say that this fretboard actually has some binding. As some of them do. We'll give this one a thinner bit of binding here, and then a little thicker here. And we'll give it a singular dot and a trapezoidal sort of top hat for an inlay. Semblance of one here. Maybe I should have researched this one a little bit. I don't really remember if Les Pauls have trapezoid. I feel like they do, though. And the ones that are least expensive, let's say they're the Epiphone, which are still decent quality, oddly enough. If they're the Epiphone, then they would have dot on top to mark the frets, starting at the 3rd and then going to the 5th and the 7th. Anyway. Now let's assume that portion's called the nut, and we're not really going to be able to see the strings, so since I already darkened the fretboard, this is raked back just a little bit. Again, it would probably be ideal if I would have looked this up. Anyway, because it's definitely way too small for what's coming out of that hat, but I think you might see where I'm going anyway. So maybe I will research this, because yeah, I'm not going to do it any justice here. You know, it's good to draw from memory. It's good to draw from a point of trying to memorize something or trying to figure out what something looks like too, because I mean, I think it's good exercise. But my goodness, when you know that you may not be that accurate with it, do yourself a favor and use references. Well, that's okay. That's funny. It's kind of fun to think of how instruments get made. At least it's fun for me to think about that, because chances are the instrument that you and I might get a chance to play is nothing like the one that's used on stage. Now, some of them, I think they actually go out of their way to play the exact same one, and then they kind of get rid of them. But I promise you, for the most part, anybody who plays has a guitar tech, and they're doing some customizing on that thing. Even if they say it's the same stock thing that, you know, is available on their signature model that you can go to the store and get, they are probably not playing it perfectly stock. The strings they use might be different. You know, they might even scallop the fretboard like that Yngwie would do on his Stratocasters. This is a weird thing to do. So yeah, no, I should look that up. Let's see. I don't really like this. But it just popped into my head to do. Weird. I wonder about certain things whenever you try to figure out the name of your band or what have you. You incorporate possibly your own name into it, or sometimes you find out that the name that you go by somebody else is using, and that's a huge nuisance because you weren't thinking about international things. You were just like, oh, this is a cool name, and didn't know that somebody else was already using it. So then you have to like change your name, and that seems to happen a lot. There's lots of people that have had to change their names because they found out, like, you know, a name you're born with, you had to go by a different name. So David Bowie, for example, quite famously went by a different name at birth. So he was David Jones. And because of the Monkees, he went by David Bowie. That's got to be kind of disappointing, don't you think? You know, you don't really get to... Anyway, you make a name for yourself, and I guess that's the other thing that you can't really feel that bad about. That's an unusual thing to have happen to somebody. I think there was an actress whose name was like Vanessa Williams. And of course, there's a famous Vanessa Williams, and I think the other one was on like, I think that show was like Melrose Place or something like that. I don't know why that popped in my head, but I think that's one of those sort of like, well, it's kind of too bad. That's too bad for you, the name you were born with. Somebody's already using it. We don't want there to be confusion between who you are and who that person is. So anyway, that just seems funny to me. So yeah. This one's not going that far. And perhaps the next picture will be all about tying something together. Let's see here. Because Yeah, you can only run sketches and ideas so far before you want to truly elaborate on them or leave them alone or whatever you feel like doing. But with this one, I would need to do a little bit of research just to see where certain accuracy would be necessary. Because as I said, I don't really remember what the headstock of the Gibson Les Paul looks like. Just for my own sake, I should probably look that up. But anyway, so I'm going to get some tape and I'm going to tape this in off to one side or something like that. And then I'm going to do some research on Slash and the guitars that he typically plays. The artsy process is kind of weird. I know most people would rather you just see the finished thing in a sped up video or something like that. And that's cool, I guess. Kind of like when you go into a gallery and you see something hanging on the wall. I've always been more fascinated with the process myself. I'd like to know how something got made. That was a neat show on TV, don't you think? To see how something gets made. I don't know if that's still on. I don't really spend that much time with television. All right. So, sure, let's do that one too. Okay. So, this is kind of where we're going with that. That hat, future-wise, you could have. Anyway. Well, I think that's it for the concept for now. I will try to work on something to kind of finish this off. And maybe to be like a full page something or other thing. And maybe I won't put all of the... No, you know what? Yeah, I'll post whatever. And you don't have to watch it. You can just stumble into it as you see fit. Fast forward things as you see fit. Cool. All right. Well, that's it for now. I hope everyone has a wonderful day, and hopefully we'll see you again sometime in the near future.